Hello, hello. We are live, absolutely. All right, I am over here again. Obviously, we're working with our tight space, so I'll be off the camera asking a few questions to these lovely gentlemen. Oh, it don't matter. It's not. The stream is not about me. It's about all of you. So, gentlemen, legends. We've got Dave, we've got Will, we've got Kyle. We have our head judge, our guest judge, and our best in show winner from 2023. So we, as we like to do, we like to, after you guys have been put through the ringer of judging on stream, we like to get you on to have a bit of a chat about how you went yesterday, how you feel it was, and then just talk about your overall experience with the Crimson Brush. So let's start with how do you guys think it was doing the judging? You know,
loved it.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I think I've been saying it's not painful, it's just long. It's like a marathon, you know, and you just got to get into the paces of doing it, and it was never an issue. It's a long process.
Yeah, it is. Particularly this year with the massive increase in entries in standard as well. So, you know, we're super pumped about that. And we want to make sure that we show that as much care as we would with Masters. So from me, speaking on behalf of the community, thanks guys for that, because you guys really got in there and showed it the love it deserves. So,
well, I mean, thanks to the community for painting so many incredible things. It's a genuine pleasure to sit down and look at everything.
Yeah.
And there were so many things. Sorry, go ahead.
You go.
There's so many things that, I guess, us maybe from that high-end sort of miniature world, we don't see. Like I saw some sort of gaming things that I'd never seen before painted, and I was like, these are amazing. And I don't think it's something that someone would ever choose in a Masters category to paint. And it was just great to appreciate the tech list. It was great to appreciate these things that you never would really look at, I think.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen a tech list model in person before either, and it comes across different when you see things in person.
Yeah. Something I've noticed about standard is the model choice that you see in standard is really, really broad, right? So I think you see more risks being taken in standard at times than you do in Masters. Do you guys agree with that, or?
Yeah, I'd say I agree. I think it feels a lot easier to enter at standard, so people maybe who come from a gaming background feel a bit more comfortable entering into standard, so you see a broader selection.
Yeah, you see some
those
wild
models.
stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's a broad range of different miniatures, but in terms of the painting, it's not as outrageous, I guess. A huge different range of different types of miniatures.
Yeah, it's that, we talked about it a lot, but it's that beginner's mind, right? It's like you don't maybe know you might pick an STL or something that might have a few challenges. If you were more advanced in your painting, you might notice them, but you don't notice them when you're younger, so you just go for it. You just raw dog in and you give it your best shot.
Or maybe you figure out that might be a problem for you to paint when you paint at that time, but it's still good to see those things sometimes, because other painters might not pick it because they've experienced that thing, and you know, it's cool to see those kind of things coming through, and it makes you reevaluate sometimes the patterns and standards that you've taken yourself into. Well, I've certainly and want to try and think about certain things that I've seen because of stuff that I've seen in standards. So, yeah,
awesome. So I guess we'll start just with something with you, Dave, because you're the only returning judge from last year. Is there anything you want to talk about in regards to last year to this year? And the sort of step up from being just on the panel of judging as you were in Kyle's position, as you were the previous winner, to moving on to the head judge sort of role.
Yeah, so I think Australia's level has been growing across the board just very rapidly every year. And every year it just blows me away just how far the whole community has come in just a year. And this year is even bigger than last year after COVID had happened. And, you know, I feel like COVID gave time for people to get into mini painting and then get a lot painted and then get entered. But then we've had the biggest show out of entries ever this year. And that continual growth just constantly blows my mind. Like, I can't get enough of just sitting there. Like, I could spend the whole day judging and just looking through all the models. I want to spend 10-15 minutes on every single model. Unfortunately, we can't do that. But
I don't know, Dave. It's great. Like I talked to Dave, I was like, how was he? He's like, I could have done it for 9 hours. I'm like, there's no way I could have done that.
I'm with Dave on that. I'm with Dave.
No, I really love it, but it's
Yeah.
like I want to do it at my own pace and stuff like that.
Well, speaking of that, Kyle, I think you offer quite a unique perspective in what you're looking for when you're judging.
The old school master.
Yeah, and I also think you have a very high value in creativity.
Yeah.
How did you find that was this year?
It's really good. I mean, just going back to, like, I just saw one person asked what was my favorite model, or what was our favorite model in Standard.
Yeah.
There were some really creative things in Standard, like really creative things, like things that I would not expect and things that I think were even more creative than stuff in Masters. And it was really interesting that, like, some of the things, and maybe people maybe don't feel confident in their painting, but it doesn't mean that they don't feel confident in their creativity and what they want to present, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome,
it's good to
awesome.
see.
And then finally, just quickly, I got one for Will, because Will's our international guest. And I think a really interesting thing when you have an international guest come out is often, and we've discussed this, there are different styles and ways of doing things. Parts of the world do things a bit differently. You know, what was it like for you coming over and seeing the Australian side of things?
I mean, it feels like a really nice amalgamation of lots of different styles, but ultimately benefiting the community as a whole, because everything feels super creative, even when it does conform more one way to a style than it might otherwise.
Yeah.
It's just lovely. Everyone seems to just really be enjoying whichever way they pick painting.
Yeah.
They don't feel like they need to stick to one because of where it comes from.
I think that's awesome. Alrighty, so that's a few interesting takes. Is there anything specifically you guys want to talk about, or?
Yeah, I mean, just to bring up the model, there was in Standard, I'm not sure if it's been shown on stream or whatever, but it was a siren that had like water droplets coming off it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
They were painted like photorealistic water droplets. It was like absurd to see.
They look like real water droplets on the model, but it's just flat, and it's just
And I talked to the
mind-bending.
painter, and it's just like, you know, it is kind of his first kind of thing or his second time entering something, and it's like, he didn't feel confident enough to go to Masters, and it's like, it's great there's a place where he feels very comfortable to enter his miniatures, and I'm sure everyone has said how great they are, and I'm sure he's going to feel really confident now, and, you know, maybe he takes the next step, or maybe he stays in Standard, and we'll see.
What I love about the model that you're talking about, and the particular person who paints that is they're pretty loud in like what they're interested in miniature painting, and they're like, I am pushing that. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to explore. I really appreciate painters, artists, you know, makers, or even hobbyists who like have that identity. You know what I mean? And they're like, this is what I'm going for, and it really shows in your work, your passion in that regard. Yeah. So. Here's a question. Crip Shadow was asked, how many hearts did you guys break at this event?
I'm hugely like impressed by the reaction of people. Everyone I've talked to is like, this was great. Next year I'm bringing more pieces. I'm trying harder. I'm sticking. Even people who this is the first time they've entered something, like everyone seems to just be super up for going again. It's great.
I think Australia's community is very supportive, and everyone wants to help everyone else grow and get better. And I think I just said that before on the other stream, but it's something that's very special to the Australian scene, and maybe that's got a little bit to do with the Australian like laid back kind of way of being. I don't know.
Everyone. I mean, it's a stereotype, but everyone seems a lot
chill, dude.
Yeah, a lot more chilled about it. You know, like you say, positive. Like, not to say everywhere else is negative, but I don't know. I've not experienced any negativity doing here.
I think my experience here is that we know we're a fairly we're not young in a sense that, I mean, we've had people like Kyle who traveled the world, and Sebastian, in the early 2000s. We've had painters go out and represent us before, but and work at building a community here before, and then through whatever reason, sometimes it detours away, and through that detour, a lot of people have found their way back, and I think a lot of people share the idea or the concept that we are quite young compared to the rest of the world in that regard. And so there is an onus on us all to work together to build something.
But I think also, because we are so spread out, and we all live in like places really far away from each other. You really want to enjoy the people you're hanging out with and be a part of the community if you're going to travel that far to come to something. And people do really want to come to this event and see their mates and meet new people and stuff like that, and grow the community. And even we got the painting guilds and meetups and stuff like that now. And it's like people will travel a long way. Like Sydney Central Coast is not close to Sydney, but people drive from the Central Coast to come and meet up with the Sydney painters because they want to be a part of the community and they know how friendly it is and they want to be a part of it.
Yeah, we had Ed on just before doing a bit of a chat about his journey, and he was talking a similar thing in Melbourne. People are willing to drive from Geelong, an hour out of the city or 2 hours out of the city to get down to do it.
I go to the Melbourne meet as well, and that's a 45-50 minute drive for me each time. But I still like to go because I want to help grow the Melbourne community, and I just love talking about miniatures, which probably comes across.
Just a little bit. You've been on a lot telling the world how much you love miniatures. This Crimson Brush. Usually that's
Hashtag we love minis.
Oh, hashtag we love minis. Legend. All right, so it's always a pleasure to have you guys out. Last year we actually brought on some of the miniatures that judges had painted to have a bit of a look at. We're not going to do that this year because we are a little bit pressed for time, but I'm sure you can all drop your handles, people where they can find you to look at your stuff.
I'm at Dave Colwell on Instagram.
Look, you could follow me, but I don't have anything on there.
Kyle doesn't put anything on there.
I will stalk and I'll look at things. The Kyle M, but look, eventually I might put miniatures on there. And, but it's I don't know. I just can never take good photos.
Yeah.
At Will_paints.
At Will_paints.
I got the better end of that.
All right, so where are we at? We've got about half an hour till our final wrap up. Let's go to questions from you guys in the chat. Fire them out. What do you want to hear from our judges? Was there a particular piece of feedback that you thought was interesting from them and want to learn more about why they had that opinion? Please give us something to talk about. Help Andy. It's been a long 3 days. I love you all.
Thank you, Minimancer. You're always very, very helpful. Whenever I've been on the stream, you're helping out, so good on you, mate.
Yeah, more painting competitions are popping up in Australia. We have 3 major events right now. We have the Crimson Brush, we have the Guilds Inn, and we have Arc Open. Tips for painting tufts.
Okay, so it's not as easy as it seems, and I'm sorry I'm so hard on this. It's going to become a meme or some shit, but you don't use thin paints. You need to sort of dry brush it and use thicker paints. They're too thin and small, otherwise the paint just runs down it in drips. So dry brushing them and using sort of like thick wash consistency on the bottom where it touches onto the base. That's what I would suggest to do.
Dave, can I live on this stream? I think you need to put your money where your mouth is and do the most impressive tufts ever.
Just toughed out, bro.
Yeah.
You've got a piece actually that you could do some tough stuff on that you've got working on. You got that 2-person 32mm scale.
I'm not going to do it on the stream now, but
I
will do
on
some.
The stream.
I know, but you need to make a promise.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all going to be looking at your tufts.
I have a plan to do something with tufts, so fine.
Oh, there you go.
I'll put it in the list.
He's ahead of us.
Earlier in the list, so yeah.
All right, we will quickly mention. There Duke's made mention, and we apologise there, Duke. Yeah, Mortal Blade is another painting event in Sydney. It's attached to Sydney Slaughter, which I believe is an AOS event.
Yeah, I think it's in Padstone, maybe.
Yeah, Stonebeard Jim, the lovable Jim, went along and judged that one. I'm sure that they are very interested in growing that. So big shout out there if you're a big fan of AOS and also miniature painting. Get along to that one.
I don't think it's just AOS. You can enter whatever.
You can enter anything, but the tournament, the Sydney Slaughter is an AOS event.
I want to answer Tui's question. What's the best way to create a diverse creative community? I think it's promoting the creative pieces the way we have. Like, I think Australia is almost ahead of the rest of the world in the amount of creativity. I'm not saying that we are, but like in terms of like the volume of entries that are heaps creative, we have more of our entries that are creative than probably anywhere else in the world by percentage.
Dropping bombs here.
I agree.
By percentage, not by number, but by percentage of total entries. Right, and so we're rewarding those pieces by appreciating them for the risks and the creativity, and you don't always need to be as technically skilled if you can pull off something really creative.
I'm going to jump in here just for a second, if that's all right, Kyle. Specifically in regards to like the diverse creative community part, because you touched really well on the art of. I think the one thing that is here is Australia's quite ego-free in regards to that. We are encouraging more and more people to become a part of organisation. We are encouraging more opinions, more diversities, and more communication than ever, because we value that if it's the same people doing the same things all of the time, when those people are not doing it, there will be nothing there to do.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is at the heart of it. This is why we cycle our judges so regularly. It's why we always want to be bringing different people up on screen. I think that's, from my 2 cents, not a judge but had an opinion.
But I think going on from that, it is, and also Tui asked the question, you know, like it is the idea of through committee and like being able to give feedback through committee, and the guilds and the painting things and the meetups, a really good opportunity to like get feedback through the committee. And there's nothing wrong, and we will help out Jared, we'll help out Spat, and it's kind of ego free, and it's like, well, what about this, what about that? Nat is fantastic for that. And we all help each other and be like, oh, this is creative, and then someone will go, what if we make it more creative? And it just keeps like, how can we
stacks on top of
stacks on top? And it's all trying to help each other out because we're doing different projects.
Yes.
So it's not
Very
like,
much so.
especially a creative thing, it's who cares if you never wanted to do that idea, give it to someone else. Help them out.
I think one thing I appreciate is because Australia is isolated as a country, and then within it, it's so spread out. Everyone's so much more proactive in increasing the community and going out and learning and trying new things, that it's just created a lot more positive community as a whole, because everyone just wants to not be 15 hours away from each other, you know. Everyone just wants to do painting.
So we don't get together that often, but when we do, we really make a good time of it.
Yeah.
This is my favourite weekend of the year, and now there's another one in the middle of the year with guilds. So.
Contrary to popular belief, we definitely do not lock people in rooms and tell them you have to speak positively at all times. I want to really express how organic that is.
Yeah, the UK sucks.
You heard it here first.
All hail the king, I guess.
Yeah. Also, there's talk of an Ashes being born in miniature painting, so there's that. You know, we've got to kick off. So anyway, what else have we got there? Darko for sure were inspired. Sydney Slaughter, excellent, awesome. Last year was painting backs and rods. Okay, yeah. So last year
we didn't see any unpainted rods this year. I don't know if I remember.
We saw unpainted backs.
Oh,
yeah, we did.
There were a couple of unpainted rods, and I was like, and then the one thing is I talked about Nat's bent rod, and I was like, after last year the rods was the thing, and I brought it back up again.
And we did bring up Tufts last year as well.
Yeah. I think overall what you're talking about here is finish, and just making sure with your entries, you know, go over it with a bit of a fine-tooth comb. Make sure some of those things that don't make it easy for a judge. Oh, this is for everyone, eh? And I'm sure you guys as judges probably appreciate this. Don't make it easy for you guys to rule something out because something so simple wasn't done.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and you've got to remember that, like, we're being insanely critical for the purpose of judging, and so sometimes these things don't really matter if it's just going to sit on the shelf and be part of a collection, but when it's in competition, you've got to care about pretty much everything.
You've got to take it into consideration, you know. We're going to be picking it up and looking at it.
Especially if you're going to be going into the Masters category or going for golds.
Yeah, I think especially it's...
Because we're usually going to cut something out of a gold if it's got a problem, you know.
Yeah, that's that.
A problem stops it. A problem stops it from getting a gold, and it could be almost gold everywhere except for one tiny little thing. But sometimes it just doesn't feel right to give something a gold if it's got a problem.
Yeah.
So,
I just want to say one thing, because we do talk a lot about Australia, and so we should. It's where we are. We don't say these things to sort of lord it over other people or anything like
don't
that.
think that either.
We don't think that at all. We love you all. We love all of your painting communities out
wish
there.
we could be
we,
there.
we wish we could be. You do not know how much we wish we could be there. You know, for us to be able to every single time to just get on a plane, or a short plane trip, or bus, or a car, or a train, and just to be a part of it is for some of us the thing we want most.
yeah.
But
yeah.
so you guys are really lucky. Remember that.
And you don't know it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I reckon.
Please go. If you're going to cancel, we want international people to come and compete here. So please.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Think
the
about
UK
coming.
people come out to Australia, please.
And
Yeah,
I think
please.
There's one, like, I mean,
And
Canberra's
compete.
great.
Come and compete.
Yeah, Canberra's great. I mean, you might, if you enjoy gaming as well, but like the guild's in. Like, there's activities the whole weekend, so it's not like you just have to drop your miniatures off and then leave. You'll be entertained for the whole weekend, the whole time.
Yeah, the
Either
gi-
Crimson or Guilds.
Yeah.
We'd love to have international competitors.
I think.
Let's make them regret asking that.
Yeah.
International guys, come on.
So the Guild's Inn is a weekender, right? And it really truly celebrates just painting.
Yeah.
And so it is a great place to go. They're all great places. If you love, 40K and all that sort of stuff, you've got Arc, Infinity Arc, hear all of those things. So, anyway, what have we got there? Are you going to foot the bill then? Oh, come. No, we won't foot the bill because...
maybe vice versa.
Yeah. We won't foot the bill because we think that we're worth coming out here for. So
I think it's worth to come for a holiday.
Yeah.
Having not foot the bill myself, I think you guys are worth coming out here for.
we appreciate that.
Just do some classes.
Yeah.
You'll be right.
If you want to work, make it a working holiday. There's a lot of demand for classes.
A lot of demand.
Good answer, indeed. All right, legends. Do you want to sign us off, Dave? It's been wonderful.
My brain is functioning very slowly at the
Okay,
moment.
Kyle, do you want to sign us off?
What do you want me to say?
Whatever you
Okay.
want. Give us
Look,
your final thoughts and we'll get out of
I
here.
think, look, thanks guys. Thanks for entering. I think Standard has been a really fantastic success. I think for myself, I'm going to sound like some old grandpa, but being in this community for so long, I think that the Standard is a really good way moving forward to encourage more people, and I think it's fantastic. And look, even Masters, everything is just getting bigger and better, and let's just keep continuing because it's such a fantastic place at the moment, and we're kind of on that point of the Big Bang type. It's ready to go, like to get bigger and better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's just been an absolute honour being here. Like, to see all the hard work,
It's
and
been great to meet you. You're a legend.
everyone here is a legend, so it's great.
So finally with Will, obviously Will, you're shooting off quickly to Sydney after this to do some teaching, and then down into Victoria to Melbourne to do some teaching, and then wrapping up and on the way home.
Yep, and then back home after that, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. It's been a pleasure. Thank you from us, the Crimson Brush, to you, the judges. It's always a tough job, and
Such a well-run event. It's great.
Thank you to everyone who
thank you to
entered.
Trent. Thank you to everyone involved. Thank you to you, Buckz.
Yep,
Not a problem.
Ben,
Yeah,
Trent, amazing work.
All right, this room has filled up very quickly, so we are going to say goodbye just briefly, and we will be back soon.
See ya.
See you later.